Welcome everybody to Blerdlines. This is your man Cam. With me as always is,
Cam too. How you doing?
as well as,
Professor D, or for today, the Professor of Ice and Fire.
and Josh is probably pulling up at the rear right about now. Look at that. On
There
time.
he is, freshly minted Knicks fan with his hat in his frame and the shirt. I want you all to know that he's a Knicks fan, and we're happy for the New York Knicks. They brought home the gold, took home the gold.
That is accurate. I'm unabashedly wanting everyone to know.
He just watched House of the Dragon season 3, the season premiere. I was thoroughly entertained, and it was a little bit longer than 60 minutes. It's about 70. So
Yeah,
I actually
like 73. So yeah, it was something like an hour.
Yeah, so
minutes.
It was one of those ones where you're watching it and then like you look at your watch like, oh damn, there's only like 10 minutes left. How are they gonna finish
For real?
Exactly. And
Wait, what are we getting? 8 episodes this season or 10? Or
eight.
It would be better if we got 10, but I guess this time around they're prepared for the 8, and I think that's the difference between this time and the last time. I think after the fact is when they were told they had to nix those last 2 episodes and move them to the 3rd season.
So, because they were already in it already.
Right.
Yeah,
because remember that was at the tail end of the strike and like all that stuff was being figured out. So I think this season shouldn't have those kinds of problems.
Look at what happens when people just kind of get their shit together, because I feel like a lot of the infighting between Martin and Sapochnik, sort of, you could kind of feel it in some of the herky jerkiness of the last season. The first season was okay, but that second season,
Kondo.
Definitely. Kondo.
He left after the first season.
Yeah, but it seems like they ironed everything out just in time to sort of make to make at least this episode come out the way it came out. Like, it felt right. It felt in tune with what we saw in the first season, and more so than the second.
If this had been the finale of the last season, this
would be
okay.
Nobody would have said anything.
With what we saw. The fact that everything in the last season after Rook's rest was just exposition, exposition, and then ending on a similar way of season 1, where all the armies are coming together, and or at least we know that everybody's about to converge in one spot. Oh, they're not in one spot, but yes, the war is about to happen. We did not see. They cheated us in one of the battles, the Burning Mill battle. We don't see that. We just see them argue and then dead bodies. And so now this is a good tone to start. But I think if that had happened the last season, it would have vindicated. And someone brought up, I think it was a Slash Film article I was reading, where they said that most likely House of the Dragon will be a great binge rewatch in terms of not having that time in between.
The 3-year gap.
But to go from each story beat uninterrupted, it'll probably be better. Obviously, it'll still have some flaws, but this was a good start.
I think on rewatch, they'll probably rewatch better, because then that way you can kind of get to the flow of it. Where I think Game of Thrones in its heyday, at its peak, like every episode, every week was must-see TV. Like, you'd have to sit and make sure you watch it, because at the end of that episode, you like, damn, okay, what's happening next? Where this one is like 5. Up to season 5, but like for this one you could miss a couple episodes and catch back up and be like, oh, okay, that was cool, and like group watch it, because that's why I watched it. I watched it in groups of 3s, and it felt better to watch it like that as opposed to waiting every week. Where now with this episode, this felt like, oh, okay, maybe I need to check in what happens next, because it like I said, the pacing was better, the tension was there. So now I really want to know what's going to happen next. Where last season I was like, I could do every 2-3 and just catch up to the end.
The way this episode ended felt like it could have been a season finale instead of a season opener, with that last shot panning out away from the battle and looking at all the wreckage of all the ships, and basically just seeing what's left of the Sea Snakes fleet and basically the decimation of the pirate fleet. And that, I feel like that almost like they framed out exactly how last season was supposed to end, and they just
Yeah.
didn't change anything.
And the way they paced it out was by the time it got to, we started to get the Battle of the Gullet, then we started to see the other things that was happening around it, and then things started to move all in tandem. So then by the time we get to the last part, the Gullet sprinkled out through the show as opposed to just being this one big plot, right? Which
Yep.
made it a lot. It made it better because then as I'm like going back to whatever the other thing I was looking at, boom, it got back to the Gullet. Like boom, I'm like, oh, does Black Dude die? No, he's not. He just fell into the water. Cool. Next.
Yeah, and each time it gets more intense. So the first time we
Yep.
see the warning,
Builds.
cut away, and then they cut back. His ship's on fire. All hell is broken loose. And same thing. Cut back. The Dragonstone gets the message. Then we cut back a little bit while we see Jace and Bela pull up in Moondancer and Vermax.
And that's kind of what made the editing jump out at me. Like they cut from the battle's about to start, then they cut to Rhaenyra flipping out that she can't join the battle. Then when they cut back, it's in full swing, and there's sails on fire, and there's somebody. One ship is launching a fireball at another ship over the camera.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's a good structure. It's an interesting structure.
Shout out to the ODB of Dragon Sheep Stealer for just being a wild card throughout the whole.
Oh, really?
I appreciate that because it is a wild dragon.
It caught me off guard when she was like, "Those are not our enemies. You probably don't want to set them on fire." I was like, "Oh, well, that's the party we're attending." Okay,
exactly. Sheep Stealer got mad when Vermax pulled up. It's like, what are you doing? Like, get out of my way. I want to burn the ships. I want to eat these people. Like,
which was hilarious.
Well, Sheep Stealer doesn't. Well, I don't know what they're going to do with semi-canon. He doesn't eat.
That's another story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And definitely Rip Vermax. I saw R.I.P. Rip Vermax. I like Vermax. I love his design. I love that he looked more like an actual reptile than a lot of the other dragons. And if he had gotten to full size, I mean, oh my. Like he would have been a monster. And Rip Jacaerys Valerian.
Oh man, yeah.
I would say we will never see his like again, but then there's the Jon Snows and
we'll see at least one more.
We'll see a few more of his like, but Jace, you will be remembered.
What have we learned? Never run headfirst into a battle.
Well, you think they'd have figured that out by now.
You don't have the kind of experience, because I think, and that's what I really do love about the story, both in the canon and the semi-canon, is that Jace is eager. He's eager to contribute. He's eager to prove his mettle as the Prince of Dragonstone. And obviously, there's a bit of insecurity because 2-3 individuals who are not Targaryens claim dragons, and part of the whole sticking point with him is the strong blood that's in him, and feeling that constant insecurity led him to doing what, and we often forget, he's only a teenager.
Impulse.
And that,
teenager.
That was my thing. I was just like, yo, your first battle is gonna be a huge one,
right?
In the middle of the sea. I'm not sure this might be with training wheels
with like 8 million different variables popping off all at the same time.
Exactly. Your dragon is full size, but Vermax is still young. It's the same age as Jace. So, and Bela did her thing too.
She is in a very short period of time become a much more strategic player. Like she knows where to plant her foot and when to lift off. She knows when to dip left and dip right. I like what they're doing with her character as far as like the kid's savvy. Like she's not stupid, and I like that. I like that they're giving that to a Black female character, and especially one so young and inexperienced. Like that's a nice little intangible that I picked up on almost immediately.
I didn't like the setup of Jacaerys going and Bela going to the battle. I thought, again, I don't like when you cut against the world. And to me, that was just one of those moments where they're trying so hard to push the narrative of Rhaenyra's of the men in Rhaenyra's life feeling they know what's best for her because she is a woman, and not acknowledging her as queen. Now it gave It gave Emma Darcy, it gave them a lot to work with in their performance. But it doesn't, to me, mesh with the world, because if you're not gonna take the word of the crown prince over the queen. Like if the king says,
that's a good point.
Out, you're letting her out, because otherwise, as
you're gonna die.
Have your head, she's gonna have his head. It doesn't matter, and especially now that her son is dead. So,
but I get what they were trying to play. Like his job is to protect her even from herself.
But that's not how it works in that world.
No, exactly.
And
it
so
does not work that way.
That's my issue. Like again, if that were the king, you wouldn't have done that, and obviously that's the whole point. But at the same time, I think in the canon, Rhaenyra's choice to finally relent and let Jace go is a big moment decision, because it's a moment in which she says, okay, they need help. She realizes that her rushing off into the battle is not wise, because if she dies, it's over. And so it creates a moment where she trusts Jace, but then she later regrets it because of how disastrous it is. So I would have rather them go that route as opposed to doing what they did, because again, that cuts against the established world building.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. We're going to end it up there. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. We out.
Peace.
Later.